Good morning and welcome to another delicious edition of Texas Oatmeal. It's actually not morning, it's mid-afternoon, but I always post these in the morning, so that's what you get for your intro. Well, this is the end of the year. It's actually December 31st, 2022, and it's been a little over a year since I've created the Death Trike. So if you're new to the channel, this is my 2018 Vanderhall Venice. It did not start life like this, of course. It has a standard hood and a standard frameless windshield and no top. And normally a piece back here that hides all this beautiful little whatever we want to call that. No biohazard tank, none of that. This is all custom stuff. This door goes up to allow me to get in easier. And this giant monstrosity cage over here also goes up as well, so that you get this crazy look for Vanderhall. So not your typical machine. So some people would say that I've ruined the look, the classic looks of the Vanderhall, and maybe I did. But this thing for the last year, well, let's just say any car show that I show up to, that my buddies are at, they don't win. Yeah, I know it's crazy to think that some punk guy in his garage could create such an amazing thing with a really crappy Harbor Freight welder and very little skill and come up with this incredible looking machine. Now again, if some of you think this is not incredible looking, you're wrong, because this thing is amazing. And you know, if you were just sitting here looking at it, well, you'd get shot. I just wanted to give you guys an update on where we're at here. Nothing has been done to this in the last few weeks or months since, well, the last few weeks since my last video, because I haven't had time, of course. I work a ton now. And but I did just go to a show this morning, and I wanted to give my thoughts on Vanderhall ownership again, now the 4th year that I've owned this vehicle, and talk about the things that they actually just posted and the things they've updated to their website as of yesterday, I guess. So you know, I've loved this car. I think it's been great. I've had very few issues out of it. Some people have had major issues and they hate these things, and I don't really know why, because I've had nothing but real success out of it, and it's been a ton of fun. I don't own cars for very long, and I've owned this now for 4 years. This is the second longest I've ever owned a vehicle, outside of a motorcycle I owned for a while. But almost all my vehicles that I've ever owned, I've gotten rid of in like 2 or 3 years. This thing now 4 years strong. And although it is for sale, technically, it's got a $45,000 price tag on it. And you can find these standard 2018 Venices somewhere around the $20,000 mark, usually, if they've got a bunch of miles on them. Although don't let my insurance company hear that, because it's definitely worth $45,000. But you know, it's a car that, you know, a ton of people have enjoyed these things. Our group is huge, and we've done so many events, so many get-togethers and meet and greets and whatever, that you know, it's a totally unique vehicle and a driving experience unlike really anything other. And as much as I support Vanderhall, you think they'd give me a pop-up, but they don't. You know, you can go back and look at my 3-year recap for Vanderhalls and what you should do or shouldn't do, or what I like or dislike. And I don't really want to talk about that. I really want to talk about the new vehicles they've just posted to their website. So let's take a look at those right now. The Brawley, the Santa Rosa, the Classic, and Concepts. Okay, so let's talk about, well, the Brawley has been announced quite a while back. I don't know, a year or two ago or something. 4-wheel drive, electric, off-road, 4-seater thing. You know, it's cool, I guess. I don't have a mark. I'm not interested in this at all. What is kind of interesting is this Santa Rosa. So this thing, at first glance, kind of just looks like a Carmel, and it is very similar to a Carmel. You know, it has the little suicide doors, it looks like, a little bit different hood and front end, of course, but Carmel wheels, kind of Carmel look overall. What's interesting about it is it's electric, of course, because that's what they're doing. They're going all electric. And there are a few things that I've noticed. For one, I noticed they've got the air vents here, right? They've got 4 of them now, 1 on each side and 2 in the middle in the dash. The gauges are definitely different from what they've been in the past. Center console here, of course, since they don't have a shifter located down here, this is electric, of course. Looks like they've got one here, maybe, for shifting into gear, or because again, it's going to be electric, so it's going to have, kind of one pedal driving, whatever, one gear. But center console-ish area here with a couple cup holders. What I've noticed about this, especially these AC vents, is it kind of looks like they're going to have air conditioning and heat. This is interesting. They do a seat that now appears to be folding forward and backward. We've been screaming about that for years. That's why I've done a seat flip mod, because we need to be able to access into the back here. And when you slide the seat forward, there's just not a lot of room to get between the seat back and the storage compartment. So hopefully that ends up being exactly what we think it is. And then, of course, electric powertrain, battery, blah, 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 blah. This is where I think it's interesting, right? So this little diagram it's got here, right? So heated seats on either end, Bluetooth on and off, headlight low and high appears. This temperature, cold and hot, kind of makes me think there's going to be AC in this thing. I'm assuming this is going to be fan speed, maybe, for the temperature, or for the AC unit. Defrost, which is new. And of course your hazard switch and whatever this nonsense is. I don't know what that is. So quite a few switches here along the interior panel here. So no information on this website, of course, yet, but it's kind of interesting nonetheless. Several different trims of these. There's a standard, a GT, and a GTS, and of course, we know that means they're going to have different features and whatnot. Not a lot of information on that currently. This is the drivetrain. So 360 foot-pounds of torque, 303 horsepower. Not crazy, but pretty good. They're showing the standard battery pack 150 mile range, and with the optional extended battery 300 mile range. Literally double, because double. We'll see. That they had an Edison out before that was an electric Venice, and it didn't do so well. I don't know. You can pre-order it. It costs you $100 to pre-order. And yeah, okay. So that's the Santa Rosa. Okay, Santa Rosa. What I think is also interesting, before we get into the concept vehicles, is they list the Carmel as the classic. Okay, Carmel GTS, GT, regular, Carmel Blackjack, Venice, GT, so on and so forth. So these are all the current models they have. Gas powered. We all know about that. Okay. What I think is interesting, though, somewhere. Okay, so if you click on one, what I think is interesting is existing inventory. This makes me wonder. I feel like when you click on this and it asks you for your zip code and blah, 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 and it shows you all the dealers in the U.S., I feel like by them saying existing inventory and then finding these stores, that means that's it, that they're not going to make anymore. At least that's what I think. I don't really know that, but it makes me think by having this say existing inventory that they're no longer going to make gas-powered vehicles. Anyways, okay, so let's go back to the main page here. Right, let's look at concepts. This is where it gets really interesting. So they've got the Indio, which this got leaked several months ago. Somehow somebody internal leaked this. It's an electric, all electric model. They show this one as the GTS. Appears to have doors. Kind of appears like it has windows here. It doesn't look like a window here, but up here it's kind of glossy, shiny. That might be that it has roll-up windows. Hard to tell for sure, but we're kind of thinking it does. And some of the leaked information had some specs listed for this. It showed potentially AC and heat and stuff like that. I don't remember all the specs that got leaked, and I won't go into it here because I don't want Vanderhall to get mad at me for talking about this too much. It's on their website. It's definitely going to be electric. It looks amazing. I think this profile look of this thing looks awesome. It's probably going to be too expensive for me, but I can't wait to see one. All right, so the next is the Yuma. This appears to be a Brawley, but with a truck bed. So electric, four-wheel drive, four-seater Brawley with a truck bed. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so the next thing, the Speeder. Okay, so this is kind of like a Riker. It also looks like it's going to be electric. I don't see any exhaust anywhere on it. This little panel here appears to be just like a control panel thing. It almost looks, I mean, it looks like it's just flush in the top of this thing. Yeah, I don't know. It looks cool. I always have liked the Riker, and this definitely looks like a Riker, just with some crazy kind of retro body kit thing on it. I don't know. I think it's awesome looking. We'll have to wait and see more about this, but I think it looks great. Yeah. And then the most interesting thing out of all this is this Mammoth. I assume since this is Vanderhall's made in Utah, maybe they have a good use for a tank tracked vehicle with tow hooks like crazy here. I originally thought this was a 6-passenger vehicle, but it looks like there's 6 in the back and maybe just a single seat center position in the front, I think. So yeah, the Mammoth, it also is labeled a GTS back here. Kind of interesting. I don't really see them ever coming out with this, but that would be cool. I think it would be a huge mistake for it to be electric, so hopefully it's like a diesel or something. Yeah, it's got a huge wiper. These little vents in the back make me think that it's not going to be electric, but I don't know for sure. Yeah, kind of interesting. Very, very weird. And then back to the Indio. Okay, so that's it. I just wanted to give you a quick update. 1 year into Death Trike ownership, 4 years into Vanderhall ownership, and the future looks electric. That's not going to do any good for me or a lot of our people in our group because we go on these huge road trips in Vanderhalls. Electric cars are not there yet. We all know that. You can't go on long road trips in an electric car. You can, I say that. You can. But you got to stop and wait an hour or 2 or 3 or who knows, depending on which vehicle you got and what charger you find and how fast it'll accept a charge and blah, blah, blah. It takes a longer time to recharge a car than it does to put gas in it to go another 200 or 300 miles. We all know that. It's just not there yet. Long road trips in an electric car, not happening. So electric Vanderhalls, even with 300-mile range, that's in best conditions. If it's super hot, you're going to be running the AC, you're going to be killing your battery. If it's super cold, you're going to run the heat. That drains your battery, let alone the fact that the batteries suffer in cold climates. That's not good. You're going to get like, if you've got 300-mile range in ideal conditions, you're going to get like 200 probably, realistically. And that's, you're going to have some range anxiety there because you don't want to run it down all the way because then what happens if you can't get to the charger? The things are just not practical still. The infrastructure's not there. I don't know what's going to happen with these things. I think they're cool. I think it looks amazing. But, man, we'll see what happens. The classic models, I don't know if they're going to stick around or if they're going to go all electric or what. But, yeah, that's kind of it. just thought I'd give you guys an update on these future things and talk about a year of ownership with the Death Strike. And I hope you all had a wonderful 2022. I hope you had a good New Year's. And here's to 2023. We'll see you next time. Peace.
You must be blinded by the lights. We came to shine here. Watch it look daytime in the night. We bring the vibes here. We full of